After months of blackout, the review of the Reserve Bank is now seeing the light of day.
As times change, we need to change too.
This is about bolstering the independence of the Reserve Bank.
The Centre of Monetary Policy Power is facing a rebuild, following 3 decades without major change.
This is a really important opportunity, once in a generation change to make sure that the framework is right for the RBA.
This is a big economic reform that's going to fundamentally change how monetary policy works in Australia.
Among the review's 51 recommendations, the current Reserve Bank Board will no longer set interest rates. Instead, a specialist monetary policy board will be chaired by the Governor, and a separate board with an external chair will oversee the governance of the organisation itself. The Monetary Policy Board will meet and set rates 8 rather than 11 times a year, with a press conference after each meeting.
My goal here throughout is a world-class central bank which is more effective, more transparent and more independent, calling on more expertise to make its important decisions.
They're not controversial changes, they would be merely enabling Australia to catch up to where other countries have got to in the way that their central bank operates.
Former RBA Department Head Jonathan Kearns was one of more than 100 people interviewed by the review panel.
Well, I think it means that the public will be more informed about exactly why particular decisions are being made. Was that a unanimous decision or was there some degree of dissent?
The review was critical of the existing board structure, saying it currently provides only limited challenge to the RBA executive's view, and its skill set is not matched to the complex and uncertain economic environment.
The review panel did not sit in the boardroom. The idea that the board members sit there meekly and accept the recommendation that I put to them is very far from the reality that I've lived as the Governor.
But former RBA economist Zach Gross thinks the Governor is being too defensive.
I think the review has done a very thorough job. They are very specific about the mistakes that the board made.
The review found significant gaps in the information made available to the board.
What you see is that the RBA staff are coddling the board to try and help them come to what they see as the right solution. And so the board's role, which is to hold these policies up to the light and make sure that we're picking the best option every time, isn't really being fulfilled.
It's not just insiders with a view on the Reserve Bank's performance.
I think it needed somebody who's going to present a dissenting view.
When the government took its search for new RBA board members public, Arthur Galletley applied.
You've got to hope that they get some fresh blood in there with different ideas, because just jacking up the interest rates and squashing large sectors of people is not looking after economic prosperity.
The Treasurer revealed the new board appointments, an expert in labour market economics and a corporate board director. They'll both continue to serve alongside the existing board members on one of the 2 new boards once they're established. And as for the top job,
in the ordinary course of events, the government would turn its mind to that appointment closer to the middle of the year, and that's my intention.
It's entirely up to the government whether I continue to serve in this role after September. If I was asked to continue, I would.
in this very foyer and in the Reserve Bank Act of 1959, the RBA's objectives are set in stone. The pursuit of price stability and full employment will remain at the core of the bank's mandate, but the legislation will be tweaked to make the economic prosperity and welfare of the Australian people its overarching purpose.
But it's important to think that errors by the central bank can have huge impact. You know, if we have a higher unemployment rate than we need to have, then that could be tens of thousands of people who are out of employment and affecting those people's, well-being. So the costs of getting things wrong are really quite significant.
The government hopes to get the changes through with bipartisan support by mid-next year.